Nobody tells you this, but awareness is both a gift and a curse. When you begin to see everything, every emotion, every lie behind a smile, every wound hidden behind laughter, the world suddenly becomes heavier. You start noticing the silence behind people's words, the emptiness behind their achievements, the loneliness behind their happiness. And once your eyes open like that, you can never close them again. You walk through life realizing that most people aren't truly living. They're just surviving, distracting themselves, pretending everything is fine. You see it in their eyes, in their forced smiles, in their constant need for noise. You realize that the world doesn't hate silence because it's boring. It hates silence because silence reveals truth. And truth is never comfortable. You stop chasing meaningless things. Parties start to feel loud, small talk becomes unbearable, and you begin craving something different, something real. You crave conversations that make your mind move. You crave people who see the world like you do, not through filters, not through status, but through the rawness of reality. But that craving comes with a price: loneliness. Because awareness separates you from the crowd. The more you understand, the fewer people you can connect with. You become the quiet one, not because you have nothing to say, but because you've seen too much. You begin to understand that most people don't want truth. They want comfort. They want reassurance that their illusions are real. They don't want to wake up, they just want to dream a little longer. And when you stop playing along, they call you distant, strange, even cold. They don't realize that silence is your protection. That distance is your peace. You're not avoiding people, you're avoiding noise. You're avoiding the shallow energy that drains your soul. There comes a point where you'd rather spend hours alone than 5 minutes pretending to fit in. You start valuing solitude like oxygen, because in solitude your thoughts breathe. In solitude your mind finds its rhythm. And in solitude you finally hear the one voice that never lies, your own. You learn to walk alone, not because you're bitter, but because you've finally learned that not every companion is meant to go the whole way. Some people are just chapters, and some lessons are meant to be learned in silence. You begin seeing time differently. You no longer waste it chasing validation or approval. You realize that peace isn't found in attention, it's found in understanding yourself deeply. You stop running after people who don't hear your silence. You stop begging to be understood. You stop fighting for space in someone else's world. Instead, you build your own. A small, quiet world where you don't have to perform, where your soul can breathe freely, where peace isn't earned, it's simply there. Awareness makes you sensitive, but not weak. It makes you quiet, but not empty. It makes you distant, but not lost. You see the pain in others and learn compassion. You see the illusion of control and learn surrender. You see how fragile everything is. And that's what makes it beautiful. You stop fearing endings because you've seen what staying stuck does to the soul. You stop fearing death because you've realized how rare real living is. Awareness gives you pain, yes, but it also gives you depth. And depth is what turns pain into purpose. The more aware you become, the more you start letting go of fake smiles, fake goals, fake connections. You no longer try to fix everyone. You simply understand and move on. You begin living in small, quiet ways. A morning coffee, a walk in the rain, a deep breath that doesn't need a reason. You realize that peace doesn't arrive with achievement. It arrives when you stop needing achievement to feel whole. And one day, you wake up, and the world feels lighter. Not because it changed, but because you did. You stopped searching for meaning in others and found it in yourself. You stopped chasing what left and learned to value what stayed. You stopped expecting life to be perfect and started finding beauty in its cracks. Awareness doesn't make life easier, it makes it real. And real life is always a little messy, a little lonely, but breathtakingly honest. So if you're in that stage where you feel detached, tired, like you're no longer part of the crowd, don't fight it. You're evolving. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. It's not isolation. It's transformation. You're not breaking. You're awakening. And awakening is never loud. It happens quietly, somewhere between heartbreak and healing, between endings and new beginnings, between the person you were and the person you're becoming. You'll cry. You'll question everything. But one day it will all make sense. You'll look back and realize the burden of awareness was never a curse. It was the beginning of freedom.